Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Hit Labs Women Health Tech Wednesday. Thank you for joining us today. I'm today's host, Vandana Yadav, Assistant Director of Research at Hit Lab. And before I introduce today's guest, we would like to make a few announcements. The deadline for the Versailles Challenge has been extended to November 1st, this Friday. This challenge is particularly focused on innovations in menopause care, and a total of $50,000 in cash prizes will be awarded to winners to this challenge. For more specific information, go to the link in the chat box. In addition, we have two important upcoming events. Please join us tomorrow for our October symposium from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. This is a free event to attend, and we are really looking forward to having great speakers. Also, I would like to remind you that our Fall Innovators Summit is coming up on December 2nd to December 4th in person at Microsoft Tech Center in New York City, and we would love to see you there. Without further ado, I would now like to welcome our guest for today, Anne Quick, who works in strategic B2B partnerships at Garmin International. Welcome to today's session, Anne.
Hey, thanks so much. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. To begin with, can you share a little bit about your background and your journey in the tech industry, how it led to your current role?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my career in actually, as you mentioned, in recruiting and technology, specifically on kind of the sales and business development side, um, work, working on for a few different software providers. And I loved my job and found it to be extremely fun, rewarding, and challenging all at the same time. And an opportunity presented itself several years ago to take a role on the partnerships team within the Garmin Health team. And it was such a great opportunity for me. I felt like it was a perfect blend of the previous experience I had in the software sales world that I had previously lived in, but also it was able to combine a passion of mine, which is in health and fitness. It's something that I've always prioritized in my own personal life. I've felt a lot of passion for, of just sought out as much information as I can around nutrition, around fitness, overall kind of wellness strategies, just total kind of holistic health. And so it's a great opportunity to combine something that I know and love doing with something that I was very passionate about, and it's made me extremely motivated in my career today and keeps me really excited about the work that I'm doing at Garmin.
That's awesome. And what are some of the main responsibilities as a leader in strategic B2B partnerships?
Yeah, so a big kind of component of what I do is kind of determining strategy of who are the types of organizations we want to align ourselves with, and within that kind of what partners are doing exciting things in healthcare and across insurance and wellness, and building relationships with those decision makers in those types of organizations. It's kind of the sales component a bit where we are, trying to show the value of Garmin products and how those can ultimately help the organizations we partner with and their end customers achieve the health goals that they have. It is, trying to stay on top of market trends and analyzing the competitive landscape where we can, be a leader in the space, around, also doing work on our product side and collaborating with our product team and integration and technical side of the team to determine like what is the value that Garmin devices bring and how can we leverage that with our partners, what key components of the products that we deliver, what metrics our partners are looking for, and how can we deliver that value to them, and where are the opportunities for customization, and how can we better align ourselves to what the industry is asking for. And then, marketing as well is definitely a component where we are partnering with organizations that are interested in using biometric data to create programs around that data and help their end customers or members live, healthier lives and reach the health goals they're looking for. And so from a marketing perspective, we're looking to tell those stories and personalize those stories so that, we can align Garmin more specifically and kind of make ourselves more known across healthcare and how devices are being used in healthcare scenarios. And then, we're also we're managing the existing relationships we have and making sure those relationships are successful, identifying areas where we may be able to improve the partnership or do more to better kind of align and prove our value as well.
That sounds super interesting. I mean, I'm sure you get exposure to such exciting updates, not just from the industry, but interacting with different stakeholders, getting user feedback. So that's awesome.
It's great.
And while Garmin is doing a lot of transformative stuff when it comes to fitness and wearables and other types of health tech data, we understand it may not specialize solely in women health. There's so many things you're looking at. So could you discuss a little bit about how women health intersects with Garmin's, initiatives?
Yeah, absolutely. So women's health has been a growing area of interest within Garmin. One of the things that we focus on is like trying to personalize the data for individuals. And we're going to continue to focus on how biometric data is personal from the individual, is personal to everyone. And being able to part of kind of a personalized health journey, gender plays a big role in that. So there are specific features that we know will help women identify where they are in their health and wellness journey, and to be able to provide insight on that is really important to us. So there are some specific features that we have launched within the last couple of years specific to kind of women's health. That is menstrual cycle tracking and pregnancy tracking. Those features allow women to better understand and track their menstrual cycles, their the actual period timeframes, ovulation, symptoms that come with that, ultimately to help better understand their bodies, predict fertility windows, manage hormone fluctuations that may come up, and if they do in fact get pregnant, opt in to track kind of the symptoms that take place throughout the fetal development. This is just all in an effort to help women stay more informed about what's going on within their body, and take action accordingly. And then we offer a number of other kind of features that may not be women's health specific, but can help women in identifying where they are within their own health journey, and be able to identify those areas that they may be able to improve, or identify areas where they're doing really well, and ultimately gain insight around what's going on and how they can continue to either live healthier or do things to make themselves healthier. Those would be things like heart health monitoring. So almost all of our devices track heart rate variability, and stress, and that can be critical for women to monitor their cardiovascular health if they are, especially during pregnancy or even postpartum. But in other phases of women who may not be going through that as well, it's important to kind of that can be an indicator of hormonal health and can help hormonal health symptoms that they may be going through. And then sleep tracking, again, something that's relevant for anyone, but monitoring sleep patterns and sleep stages and sleep quality can be beneficial for women who may have hormonal changes going on, may be suffering with chronic disease of some kind. Sleep is huge in terms of symptom of things that may be going on, and just getting great sleep is important for overall health. I already mentioned
Yeah.
stress, but again, stress can indicate kind of various health aspects as well. And then in terms of we are continuing to prioritize women's health more, and so research and partnerships along with women's health organizations, and focusing with researchers that are looking to advance women's health initiatives have been really critical for us, and we're continuing to partner with these organizations to develop more innovative solutions to benefit women's health.
That's fantastic. Especially the part when you mentioned your approach is more holistic, not just just tracking cycles or fertility and reproduction, or related health, but you're also looking into stress, their sleep patterns, even postpartum depression. So that's really impressive. And of course, you would be having some capabilities in-house and exploring partnership for some things outside. So when it comes to these partnerships in the health tech space, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face?
So yes, there's definitely some challenges we face. I think one of the biggest being regulatory hurdles. So just the healthcare industry is heavily regulated, and we take privacy and security standards very seriously. But there are times when kind of navigating those regulations can be complex and challenging, because our whole business isn't within the healthcare industry. It's a component of what we do across the Garmin Health team, but navigating those regulations for the whole business that doesn't always have to deal with those regulations can be a challenge. But it's something that we are able to work through with our amazing partners that at times have to help us through that process and help us navigate what we can do to overcome some of those regulatory hurdles. Additionally, reimbursement is something that comes up as well, and that can impact how these technologies are adopted. So Garmin wearables are not fully FDA approved. We have some software as a medical device features, and so navigating kind of the reimbursement of devices and who is ultimately paying for the devices can be a challenge to navigate. But again, we have some amazing partners that are super helpful through this process, that are able to advise us on different areas and things that we can do to overcome that. So we are lucky in the amazing partnerships that we have that allow us to help face these challenges.
That's awesome. And I see, while we were talking on this topic, there are some questions from the audience as well. Like when you mentioned about features like tracking women's hormonal health. So somebody has asked, I think it's Prerna, whether it's part of Garmin already or is it under development?
Oh, tracking hormones specifically? Is that the question? No, we don't actually have any features that track hormonal, specific aspects of hormonal health. With our cycle and pregnancy tracking, there are symptoms you can add. Those are all things that we are looking at, of course, but not currently live today.
Thank you for answering that. And you mentioned about partnering with various stakeholders, and we understand when it comes to digital health technologies, healthcare providers is a very important stakeholder, and often their busy schedules and lack of adoption or various reasons that can hinder the overall success of digital health technologies. So in your perspective, how do you address potential barriers to collaboration between tech companies and healthcare providers?
Yeah, so we definitely prioritize interoperability between our organizations. So we have a suite of developer tools to enable seamless integration with providers, with payers, with a number of different stakeholders within healthcare. We try and make those tools as simple and easy to access as possible, so that it's relatively easy to exchange data, which is so important in ultimately delivering a solution that's well adopted and utilized, and makes a difference in the lives of patients. And then, in terms of taking that a step further, there's some obviously data standards across the industry, and we adhere to industry standards for data exchange, and often going above and beyond in terms of regulations, to ensure that there's compatibility and that it makes it that organizations can trust us in terms of that data exchange and know that we are not going to do anything that puts them at risk with regard to data. Another thing is we come up, there's some strong partnerships that we've built, that we prioritize partnerships to have alternative ways that organizations can partner with us. So, maybe there's an interest to collaborate directly, but that becomes something that isn't necessarily possible through, third-party partnerships. We often, if there's not a direct way to work together, can find a way to collaborate and innovate together through a third party. So just having a number of different partnerships at our disposal, it's really important for us to ultimately deliver kind of full solutions to the areas we like to serve in healthcare. And additionally, we try and focus on the user experience, making devices that are intuitive, user-friendly, easy for patients of all ages, genders, technical aptitude to be able to adopt and use the technology. And then we want to try and clearly make that data visible, but then provide some insights, and actionable insights from the data they see that empowers both patients but also the healthcare professionals so that they can make the best decisions. And then I kind of already alluded to this with the interoperability, but just making sure that we are treating data as with as much respect, and privacy and security is really important to us. So adhering to those regulations, and even adopting regulations that may not be some things here in the US that we have to deal with, but we are a global company, and taking regulations that Europe may have and applying them here makes it easy for us to do business in multiple countries, but then also adds that extra layer of security and safety for our partnerships here in the US.
Absolutely. And it's very impressive to see how you explore different partnership models to sort of work around the convenience and constraints of providers. So that's great. And talking of in general user centricity and hearing from the community and taking in their perspective, what sort of methods do you use to gather feedback from the community on your health technology initiatives?
Yeah. So oftentimes we are slightly removed from that direct feedback, but being able to engage with end users and understand how our technology affects individuals is super important in these healthcare partnerships that we have. So we have to rely a lot of times on indirect feedback models. And so we're constantly monitoring, different social media platforms like, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, to understand what kind of insights are people providing, what the opinion is of some of these, different programs that are in place. We're engaging with those online communities and specialized health forums, and trying to identify trends and concerns that come up. We're analyzing app store reviews and trying to engage when we can to provide direct feedback and understand what users are going through. And then when partnerships allow, and what we ask our partners to do is kind of to give us the good, bad, ugly feedback that may come up as a result of the program. And just, we take a hands-on approach when it comes to supporting the partnership with our products. So we are involved with and handle issues as they arise. If the data isn't making sense for someone, if they are having a hard time using the product, our team is engaging directly with those individuals to try and support. And then we are trying to gather feedback as much as we can directly from the partner. As feedback comes to them, having them bubble that up to us and engaging in areas where we may need to intervene. That feedback is incredibly important for us to feel confident that we are delivering the right solution, and supporting our partners in the way they need to be supported.
Well, really glad to hear that you have this multifactorial approach. We also hear a lot nowadays that more advanced and sophisticated companies are opting for social intelligence to really understand their consumers, what they're talking about, the product, the brand, how are they perceiving or understanding the messaging, and how can we tailor it better. So really felt great when you were talking about all these points, that Garmin is a step ahead and actually doing this from so many different perspectives. And what sort of, since we are talking about women's health, so what sort of strategies do you use to ensure that the voices of women are included in development of these health technologies?
Yeah, it's super important. So what you often see is that how, like, technology can be male dominated, and we've intentionally tried to create diverse teams, specific to gender diversity, that include women in product development, engineering, and research, so that women who actually experience women's health issues that will benefit from the features that we implement are part of the full cycle development of the features and products we create. And then we're also trying to get unique perspectives. And so, that we also kind of account for, women specifically, and having a number of women test the product and test features before anything is released. We are doing that across women employed by Garmin, but then also groups of women that may not have had any experience with Garmin before, that may not have used wearables of any kind before. So just getting direct feedback from focus groups from women of diverse backgrounds, and also using kind of surveys and questionnaires, so that we can kind of identify areas that may cause pain, areas for improvement, but also kind of what we're doing well as well. And then we have partnered with a number of women's health organizations for research projects, partnering with a number of clinicians that can provide some additional expertise. And those partnerships are super helpful in making sure that we are delivering the right tools to empower women.
That's incredible. That's really impressive. And looking at your background, your perspective on women's health, your thorough enthusiasm into it, what advice would you give to young women, aspiring to lead in tech and health tech sectors?
Yeah, I would say, for me in my role, I found that it's been really beneficial to lean into opportunities that present themselves. So I never kind of envisioned that this is where I would be in my career. And by following opportunities that come up, and kind of listening to my gut of what do I love and what feels true to me, I feel like it's tended to get me in the right positions and roles. But for women that may not have the right opportunities, like knocking on their door, I'd say it's about building your expertise and kind of trying to stay learning about the latest trends and advancements in the field, if relevant, kind of taking the opportunity to pursue additional certifications and kind of find experts that can guide you in those areas, and trying to develop the right skills that will allow you to excel in the role that you're looking for. And then, just to network as well. Like if you are aspiring to be in this industry or other industries, just trying to attend events that allow you to connect with professionals in that field, doing that at conferences or workshops. Those networking events can be incredibly critical. And then, joining those professional organizations that can also expand that network for you, just to, feel confident that you are in the right kind of role, and not being afraid to kind of speak up and try and build those connections when you can.
Thank you so much for your guidance. I think this will be very beneficial for some of our members in the audience. Thank you. And this brings me to the last question. Looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of health tech?
Yeah, I think for Garmin specifically, and like what excites me more generally, is just the ability to kind of all of the data we're getting through sensors of all kind allows for a more personalized health journey and a more personalized experience in healthcare, and being able to understand your own body and what is important to your body is really exciting to me. And kind of the idea that wearables and sensors are even getting increasingly adopted more and more, and then pairing that with AI that can then has the ability to take the data and contextualize that data and provide deeper recommendations. And some AI models are allowing early detection of chronic diseases, and those that immense sensor data paired with AI is really exciting to me. I think it'll be critical for in the next couple of years in health tech, and specifically women's health tech.
I totally agree. Thank you so much for all the insights. I think this was a great session. A big thanks again for your time and all the insights that you shared with us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
And thanks to all our sponsors and attendees. We'll see you next week.